Hello and welcome to Mesaging Magic. How to convert conversations to clients' cash checks and credit cards. Or, as I like to say, how to win clients without feeling stressed out about telling people about your business. Today's training is for you if you've ever been to a networking event and when someone asks you, so what do you do? After you tell them, they just shake their heads. They nod, they smile, they say, oh, okay. Do you have a business card? And they politely take your card, skim over it, excuse themselves from the conversation, and of course, you never hear from them again. That was me. I was the eye roller. I was the one yelling, boring, or mumbling, I should say, under my breath. So if you've ever been to an event, if you've ever been in this position, and if you've ever wondered why, when you put it out there about your business, about what you have going on, about what you do, if you've ever sent out emails to potential clients, maybe potentially family and friends, but you didn't get any feedback, you didn't get any sales, you didn't get anything in return, you only heard crickets, then this is for you. So Russell Brunson says, tell a great story and get prospects to buy. Now, if you've ever been concerned with adding interesting stories that compel people to buy from you, or if you've ever tried to tell your story in the past about what you do in your business, especially if you didn't get the response that you wanted, think about this. Every day, people all over the world sell you their products and their services, and you buy. Why can't you sell the same way? You can, and I'm going to show you how. So if you want to learn how to win clients without feeling stressed out or overwhelmed about your marketing and marketing your business in particular, you're in the right place, even if you are a new or a veteran entrepreneur. So if you are a new business owner, then you may be hearing this for the first time. If you are a veteran business owner, then you get to spruce up your message. So there's this little known thing called messaging magic, and hardly anybody is talking about it. But when you learn it and you use it, you'll definitely see a huge difference in how fast people buy from or sign up to work with you. And it could make all the difference between failure and success in your business. So if you've ever thought, some companies are telling you what they want you to hear just to get you to buy, you're probably right. But the difference between selling and marketing your business and your product and services is a little magic. So that's what we're here for today. And I know I do. I'm going to speak for me. Well, let me speak for you too, because I know you want to increase your impact, your influence, and your income. If that's you and you're already tuned in with us live, go ahead and let me see some hearts, some likes, some thumbs up. But because you want to make things happen, you're in the right place for today's training. I want to show you how to make those things happen. And then before we wrap up, if you guys are down, I'll let you know how to take things even further and get more out of this. Now, I created Messaging Magic because I am tired of hearing people try to explain what they do, but not why they do what they do. Not why the impact it has, not what the impact is and the impact that their business has on changing lives. They also leave out experiences and results of doing business with them, and they fail to answer the question why anyone other than them should care about what they do. So let's discuss this for a moment. Now, whether you're just introducing yourself to one person at a networking event or even a few hundred people, if you're maybe you speak on the stage, then it's necessary for you to learn how to tell your story and relate it to why you do what you do in your business. And so my goal from this training today is to let you know, number one, the only way for you to get more people to buy from you, support you, and want to learn more about what you do and tell others about you is through messaging magic. But you can't do that if you don't know what your messaging is. So my second goal is to let you know that the only way to effectively share your message and to see these types of results is through messaging magic as well. I am Andrika J. Austin. I go by AJ for short. I am an award-winning business coach, and I specialize in messaging magic, where I help women small business owners get their story straight. I teach you guys how to confidently convert conversations to clients' cash checks and credit cards, those favorite C's. I help you help others fall in love with what you do through the power of your story about why you do what you do in your business. So I was born to a teenage mom. She prayed for a girl and she got me. I was literally the answer to someone's prayer. Hey, ladies, you listening. I see you, girl. Someone somewhere right now is praying for you. Think about it. Out of all of the millions of others who could have been here, even during conception, you won. You won. Can you say chosen? The one. There will never be another me. Meant to be here. All those are hashtags, by the way. So I grew up in low income housing and on government assistance, and I'm the only one of 3 of my mother's children to graduate high school. I am also only one of 28 grandchildren to attend college on a full scholarship and successfully graduate. So I've always had a way with words, hence the full ride scholarship to university, where I received over $100,000 awarded just for telling my story in essay form. So I like to say I got paid to go to school. I was married at 23, started my first business at 25, and became a homeowner with rental property at 28. And even after all of this success, it still took me 15 years to complete college. But I did it. Mercer University, class of 2016, with a degree in training and development. 11 years ago, I had 2 corporate jobs downsized. I became homeless, living in my car, sleeping in my car, and sleeping on the floors and couches of family and friends. 9 years ago, as I'm leaving divorce court, walking down the hall to get on the elevator to leave, I push the down button, and as the doors begin to close and I see my now ex-husband for the last time, my phone begins to ring. It's my cousin telling me my mom had just passed. She was 47 years old. Now, my mom, my dad, and both of my grandfathers were entrepreneurs. So the legacy of entrepreneurship is ingrained and instilled in me. I always say it's in my blood. I couldn't run from it, even if I tried. So I went back home to handle my mom's affairs. And to make a really long story short, I ended up packing up my life and relocating back home just 10 minutes outside of where I grew up. Remember the low income area I mentioned? Yeah, we had a house built down the street in the better side of the neighborhood. So the death, the divorce, the downsize, the dropout, and a previous life that was dissolving was all a business building blessing in disguise. I decided that I was tired of being let go from jobs. I no longer wanted anyone to make that decision for me. And I, wanted to make my own decision. But what really got me was the fact that when I was working for someone else, they were deciding whether I got paid or not, how much money I made, how many hours I worked. I didn't want them to have that much power over me ever again. Plus, it was dark when I went in and it was getting dark when I got off. So I barely had enough time to live. So it was during this time that I decided to pursue entrepreneurship full time. And I was able to sit with myself and my thoughts and all that I had gone through, aka my story. And I grew deeper and stronger in my relationship with God. And I connected to my purpose once again. And my purpose, I discovered, was serving the world through teaching. And so I had a few years of business owning experience from a previous life, and I added what I knew along with information that I had uncovered while I was researching this new endeavor, which showed me that 70% of women small business owners make less than $25,000 a year. Did you guys know that? I didn't. So because I didn't know that, I was enlightened, and it educated me to a deeper level. So I spent some time networking and connecting with women in business, and I started to understand why women were not making the type of money that they desired to make. It was because of what they were saying, or more importantly, what they were leaving out or not saying about what they do in their business and why. They didn't have messaging magic. Now, I used to be at a point in my business where I didn't want to share my magic, aka my story, either, about why I was so passionate about what I do as a coach for women entrepreneurs. I thought it was boring. I thought, it doesn't matter. The details are unimportant. And I didn't think it would make a difference. I was even a little embarrassed about some of the things, like the things I just told you. But after meeting with a coach and being persuaded to tell my story, she sold me on my own story. She sold my own story back to me, and she convinced me on why I had to tell it. She said, AJ, you gotta tell your story. So I did. I started with a book. Now I'm on book number 8. It's called The Boss of Me, The Woman Entrepreneur's Guide to Building Her Wealth and Her Worth in Her Business. And so now my story and my message is heard worldwide every day by entrepreneurs who need to hear it most. I had realized that I had to let my light shine. And by doing so, I would also give others permission to do the same. So that's when I took the course from a coach I admired, and I fell in love with messaging. So much so that I continued to study stories and storytelling, aka story selling. Then I brought all my stories together and started helping my clients not just build their business, but start making money by telling the story behind their business and why they were so passionate about what they do. I wanted to also open up the floor for you ladies who are here live. Thank you so much for joining us. Hey to Tamika, Latasha, Lavon. Thank you guys for being on here. And the other ladies on the other live that I have going at the same time, thank you guys so much for being here. If at any moment you have questions, feel free to put them in the chat box. I will definitely love to have a conversation with you ladies about your story and whether or not you're sharing your story. I'm here for you. So I wanted to tell you the value in sharing your story, because what that does is, like I said at the beginning, help you convert these types of conversations to clients, cash checks, and credit cards. People are happy to hear your story, to hear what you've been through. For example, I spent a lot of time sharing my story, but a lot of people didn't know how I got to be so comfortable with it. Well, this one is called my Goodwill story. So real quick, you guys know Goodwill, the thrift store. I know we have a lot here in Atlanta. I was just at one not too long ago because I love thrift store shopping. It's a hobby. I grew up yard selling, thrift storing, but I just love it. It's like a stress relief. And so their motto is where we put people to work. And I know their motto is true because I am the product of the sales and the donations that come into the store. I had a supervisor. Her name was Angel Cooper. She was one of my last supervisors who really supported and believed in me. And she told me to go and take business planning classes at our local Goodwill. They had a career center and they trained entrepreneurs and employees. So I decided I wanted to go to the entrepreneur side. Let me see. So I ended up taking the course. I got a partial scholarship to attend the business planning program. I told y'all I'm good with words, and I got some scholarship money to go to the class. So I went through the program even while I was homeless. I was separated from my ex-husband and all. I went through the program while sleeping on the pillows from upstairs couches in the basement of a friend of the church. I was living in a homeless shelter, all while going through this class at Goodwill. So I graduated the business planning program and I went right back into corporate America working one more time because I didn't know what to do after I graduated the business planning class. I didn't know how to put that plan into action because it was a traditional 35-page long business plan. So I took one more chance, got a full-time job and 3 more part-time jobs after that, 2 of which I was let go, 1 downsized, and then the last part-time job, I just walked out. And that was years and years ago. But I did so, like I said at the beginning, because my timesheets were disappearing. My check kept coming up missing. I said, okay, no more. God is really trying to tell me something. This just is not working. So that's just the power of a story, because I was able to put into practice what I had learned. I knew that I had learned how to be an entrepreneur. I knew it was time for me to really listen to what God was showing me in my life. And I knew it was time for me to start taking my story to another level, because who knew? God did. One day I would be sitting in front of audiences like you guys and telling the story about Goodwill and still pushing through everything that you have going on in your life to help you get to your next level. So ladies, if that's you, Sharice, I see you, girl. If you guys are at a place where you don't even know what you're going to do, or if you've ever hit that hard spot in your life and you still don't know what you're going to do, then think about what you've been through. Think about what you said, okay, no more, and you're ready to take that next level. So one day, one of my clients that I currently work with in my business through Messaging Magic, her name was Renee. And she said, AJ, it's kind of like you do messaging magic. You know, when you tell your story, you listen to our stories and then you tell us how to make them sound better. And that's when I finally realized that the secret to making money in business is through messaging magic. So my eyes lit up and I was smiling from the inside out and I was proudly saying, you know what? I like that. So at that time, that's when she and I both agreed that that's what I'd call what I do for women entrepreneurs, messaging magic. So the plan was to start creating messaging magic for the women small business owners I coached and to write and travel and share my message with more people. Because as you guys can see, I'm not shy and I tell all my business. Now, my mom raised us, you don't talk outside of the home. But when those checks come in for you to start telling your business, you start talking and telling your business. So you guys know my mom's no longer here, so I can say that. God bless her. And I know she will be proud of me for telling my story. I love you, Mom. So every time I share my story, people are captivated, but not enough people understand how to put stories into their marketing message to make them work like a team of little new employees for their business. And a lot of people think it seems like a complicated process, but it's not. I ended up getting so frustrated that I decided to create a signature system. And that's what I'm sharing with you guys today, parts of that system. Because what it does is make it really easy for business owners to share their stories. And the project name, of course, is Messaging Magic. But my thoughts was to create a something really creative that would make it possible for business owners like you ladies listening live and those who couldn't make today. Y'all will watch the replay and get the notes. But for those business owners who were ready to share what they do and why they do it and why they were so passionate about what they do in a way that makes people who hear them also fall in love with what they do. That's what I want us to get from today's training. So after several months of sprinkling a little messaging magic on the message, I would love to just give you guys all of the clients that I have, but there have been hundreds of people that have heard my message as I've served from different platforms, online and offline, showing how to take your message to the next level, not just share your story, not just tell your business, not just talk outside of your home, but make it sound good and make it make you money. So, in fact, over the last 4 years, I mentioned hundreds of entrepreneurs who have experienced messaging magic. You guys will hear about some of them today. And some of them are here on Facebook Live with us. I'm so excited. So, hey, y'all. So after creating Messaging Magic, I was able to bring in more of the right clients for my own business. Because like I said, when you are telling people what they need to hear to make a purchase, you empower them to show up and shine in their own lives and in their business as well. And so I love the fact that I get to help women entrepreneurs around the world do the same thing for their business. Now, you guys may not speak to as many people as I do on a day-to-day basis, but Messaging Magic makes things so much easier for you when you do. And traditionally, when you're asked about what you do, your response is usually your title or maybe your business name. You may even start getting into parts of your bio. And this can be confusing to the listener. And it can be hard to try to remember by you and by them, especially if you fill it with things like buzzwords. I know in the coaching industry, we have buzzwords like CTA and all these. I helped the lady write a dictionary of all the buzzwords in the coaching industry, and she was just shocked at how much we say that other people don't really know what they mean. So when you tell people about what you do, you have to be careful of those buzzwords, because oftentimes they're only understood by you and your industry, not the other person that you're talking to, introducing about your business. And most of the time it can confuse someone, especially if it doesn't register with that person that you're talking to. And that makes it highly unlikely that they could or would ever be able to go back and tell or repeat what you just said to other people. And then they won't be able to send good business your way, because again, they can't remember what you just said because you're using all these words that they didn't understand, went over their head, and they couldn't remember. So when you use buzzwords, you don't have control over what people will say. And plus, it's just TMI, or too much information, as my aunt would say. But when you use stories, and not just any stories, but your stories, either yours or your clients, you make your business growth easier, because you're sharing with potential buyers exactly what they're buying into and why. And this helps when they make a purchase or when they decide to do work with you. And then they go and they tell others via testimonials and referrals about why they do why they did business with you and why other people should too. And so this is a repeatable process to keep on keep on repeat, of course, but it introduces a cycle of client and customer interest and inquiries. And it's something that you want to have in your arsenal when you go out, you network, you speak, and you're telling people about your business, but not just about your business. It's about why you do what you do. So this first worked for me during an event for 100 women in business. And this particular event, I had 3 minutes to speak about who I was and what I do. I didn't really have 3 minutes. I took 3 minutes because I wanted longer than 30 seconds. And I was like, y'all gonna know who I am by the time I leave. Y'all heard that country come out, right? So at the end of the event, I had about half of the room that lined up to give me their business cards. They wanted to get on my calendar. They wanted to chat more with me about putting a little magic on their message too. So not only has this worked for me, but I've seen it work in action for other people. This lady named Melissa, she and I met at the event that day, and I gave her a few pointers on her 30-second elevator spiel. Now, she wasn't a rule breaker like me. She took her 30 seconds, not 3 minutes. But she, during her introduction to the crowd, she instantly applied what I shared with her using Messaging Magic and the formula that I shared. And then she's seen immediate results. And so afterwards, she went to my Facebook wall and she posted a testimonial. And she said, I was at this event today and I had an amazing time. And if you ever need that elevator pitch, contact AJ because she is amazing. And so I want to real quick share with you guys 3 secrets to converting conversations to clients, cash, checks, and credit cards. Secret number 1 is how to tell your story so well that potential clients want to know more about you and your business every time. Secret number 2 is how to put your business out there without putting your business out there. And secret number 3 is how to be sure you're sharing the right message with potential buyers to help you increase your sales. So let's get into secret number 1. How to tell your story so well that potential clients want to know more about you and your business every time. Now, let me tell you a quick story. I was awarded for economic empowerment by a nonprofit organization here in Atlanta. And just minutes before I went up to accept the award, I was encouraged to say a few words. And I freaked out because I didn't have anything prepared. I had no idea that I would be speaking. So I gathered my thoughts. I found a quiet place to sit and think and write something up really quickly. And I remembered my story and what I had learned in order to share it quickly and succinctly. And so I went up to receive the award. I gave my speech. It was really quick, like 6 minutes. I recorded it on my phone. But I used what I had just rehearsed in sharing my story and my message effectively. And then after the event, I was approached by 2 well-known local leaders who I didn't even know was in the room sitting in the audience. And I received an invitation to come speak and share my message at another upcoming event because now they had heard my story. They heard me share and they knew others who needed to hear my message. So if you are like I was in the beginning, you might feel like your story won't be interesting enough to compel somebody to buy from or hire you. Let me tell you about my client, Renee. She and I had a client meeting where we discussed her plans for her new upcoming book, where she was writing her memoir, the story of her life in prison for 3 years. And she was pregnant while she was in prison, but she needed help with the promotional languaging for the back cover of her book. So in one part of her story, she told how she spent 3 years in prison. And then with the help of Messaging Magic, we changed that part of her story to, I lived 1,095 days wearing the same unflattering camouflage green jumpsuit, thick white socks, and army boots. Isn't that a little more intriguing, a little more flattering, a little more convincing for people to hear more of your story as now this successful woman in business who spent 3 years of her life in prison, 1,095 days. So she later used that same line during her pre-launch where she had a speaking engagement and she sold out of all of her books and she gained several new clients. So she made a few $1,000s on site in a matter of minutes just from using the Messaging Magic technique to share the power of her story. So I want you guys to think about it. Imagine what changing just one line in your messaging using my Messaging Magic formula could do for you. Meet Detrice. Detrice didn't know who needed to hear her story. She experienced Messaging Magic and she discovered that it was a small to medium-sized nonprofit group called Dress for Success that not only paid her to be there, but she loved interacting with that group so much that she realized her new clients could now be those same types of nonprofits. that offered outreach programs to women where they were in a temporary or transitional phase of their lives due to some unfortunate circumstance. But they were like me when in the beginning, when I lived in a shelter, we would have people to come out and speak. So these same types of ladies, they just needed to be motivated that life can only get better from here. So Detrice got really clear on exactly who her message was for. And now she is positioned to more than double her revenue within the next 12 months. So she too posted a testimonial on my Facebook wall that says, I have a greater understanding for what I do. This is what I needed. No one before was able to help me. Thank you, AJ. So if you're like a lot of the people that I talk to a lot of ladies about their business. I always dig for more information because I'm nosy, first of all, but I like to ask questions and ask, why do you do what you do? And it doesn't click until I bring it up that maybe you need to tell that part of your story about why you do what you do. And some people have said things like, oh, well, I've already tried something like that and it didn't work. And another lady told me, I tried to get somebody to help me tell my story, but I was out of a lot of money. I invested a lot of time and I was left frustrated and I felt like I didn't have the support I need. So I felt alone. Look, anybody can teach you how to tell a story, but only Mesaging Magic and what I use with my clients helps you to get more people to buy from you, to support you, to learn more about what you do and to refer others to you. And it's your ticket for how to stop blending in and to start standing out in your industry in a authentic way. So Mesaging Magic in a nutshell is your key for how to stop begging people to buy from you and still make money through that little known secret that almost instantly puts your marketing on cruise control without you feeling overwhelmed or like you don't want to bother or annoy people about what you have going on in your business. Messaging Magic is kind of like having your own little personal team of fairies flying around with their little magical wands and a magic bottle of gold and magical dust. And they sprinkle that fairy dust on every word that you say when you tell people about your business. That instantly makes people want to buy from you, support you, tell others about how great you are and how powerful your message is. So now that I've shared with you and I've shown you how to tell your story so well that potential clients will want to know more. Do you guys think that was helpful? Do you think it's something that you would apply to your business? I want to hear from you ladies here in the secret Facebook group and also on our other Facebook Live. Put some comments below and I would love to interact with you. Let's get into secret number 2, how to put your business out there without putting your business out there. Now, let me tell you a quick story. Tiffany didn't know how to describe her work and her style as a coach, and she needed help speaking to her market and an audience of those who she served. And her market was those who, well, how she described it to me was those who were feeling broken and lost and stuck and victimized in their lives. And so she and I spoke and she got a taste of Messaging Magic and we found her story, which was that she and her sister grew up in a 2-bedroom apartment where they learned about life as a lady from her mom during their childhood. And then later on, they passed these things down to their younger sister and her pre-teenaged friends via weekly powwows where they had the freedom to talk and to vent and to ask questions. And so this grew to the girls being mentored in this small 2-bedroom apartment. And then 12 years later, Tiffany and her sister now serve as teen life coaches. And they have a full service ministry that goes beyond the 4 walls. So if you're like Tiffany and you feel like, oh, well, I don't know if I want to tell my business. I don't want to offend anybody, step on any toes or put anybody business out there. Or maybe you don't want to put your own business out there, your living situation at home or something like that, especially by trying to convince people to buy from you or sign up to work with you. It's a way you can do it to where, again, you don't put your business out there when you're putting your business out there. Let me introduce you to Tracy. She's a passionate nonprofit coach. She contacted me on my birthday and she became a client on the spot because she had experienced my story using Messaging Magic. So she and I went on to work together to help her find her story because she didn't believe she had one to tell as it related to why she was so passionate about what she did in her business. So after using Messaging Magic and the formula, she was nearly in tears when we spoke. And she said, AJ, I didn't even know I had a story. And a part of her story was her mom took her last breath in her arms. So her mom died in her arms. And that's when she realized, okay, I'm young. My mom died young. Same thing with my mom. My mom was 47 years old, but it made Tracy realize that it was time to wake up and live life. And so now she passionately pursues her business. But that story about why she's so passionate and why she believes so much in other people and helping them as a nonprofit coach, that's the power of her story that helps her now sell what she does in her business. So soon after we worked together, she revamped her business actually while we were working together, because she was very enthusiastic, which is what I loved about her. But she revamped her business brand Mesaging. And now she shares that same message via her story on global platforms. And she can be heard around the world sharing her story and about why she's so passionate about what she does. So you probably have been there before too, thinking, that you need to share your story, but you might have told yourself, not really sure if I'm ready to talk about that yet. It's kind of feeling a bit overwhelming. I had one client, her name was LaShondra, and she was a client who had experienced personal trauma in her life from childhood. So she had written a book, and then she came to me for help with how to share her message effectively. She wanted to sprinkle a little magic on it. So after her experience with Mesaging Magic, and actually while we were working together, LaShondra had a car accident. But she was so passionate about what she did, and she really wanted to get her story out, that she texted me the picture of her car from the accident. And she said, AJ, I was in an accident. Here's a picture of my car. I'm not sending you this picture to complain or back out. I'm just letting you know that I'm on medication right now, and I would like for it to wear off before I submit my homework, but I will complete the program. And that just inspired me so much. So it inspired me, number one, to go and pray for her because of what she was going through in her life. But it also inspired me that there are people so passionate like LaShondra about getting their message out that I now have to show up and share my message so they can go out and pursue their passion. So she made it through. She survived the car accident. She recovered fully, and she went on to complete the program. And then, as I mentioned, that was while we were working together. And after her experience with Mesaging Magic, she was offered the opportunity to be flown out and trained with a well-known nonprofit organization who wanted her to share her message and her story as a trainer in their trauma and abuse division of the organization on an ongoing basis. How cool is that? Your story reaches the masses so much so that people want you to be on their team on an ongoing basis and pay you to share your story. So I want to say congratulations to LaShondra, because she inspired me to keep pressing on. So that's why I have to show up to places like this and help other ladies like LaShondra who are ready to share their story, but maybe not knowing where to start or how to get it out there. Or maybe you're like her and things are still happening in your story. It hasn't completed yet. Well, there's something that someone needs to hear to stay motivated to keep going. So now that I've shown you how to put your business out there without putting your business out there, isn't that awesome? Now let's get to secret number 3, how to be sure you're sharing the right message with potential buyers to help you increase sales. So now if you're not sure or you're not positive, how much stories will add to your sales, or you're not sure about, do I really need to sprinkle a little magic on my message to help it increase sales? Let me tell you about Sandy. So Sandy is a virtual assistant, and she was looking to share her message offline. And so she went through Mesaging Magic, and she shared her story at a conference recently in Florida. And she ended up enrolling people for her services whom she never expected would consider buying from her, all because they were so intrigued with her delivery, her message, and her story. That's the power of Mesaging Magic. So you're probably thinking, I've tried to tell my story before and it didn't work, so I'm going to wait. I don't really want to make any quick decisions. Listen, I've witnessed people who have tried to share their message and tell their story, and it was so obvious that they did not have guidance because there was no magic. I've also heard people who have not only attempted to share their message with no guidance, but they've even tried to do what they've seen or heard other people do. And they tried to wing it. And that just turned into a massive failure on their part. And it just made them sound really bad in front of a room full of people. So with Mesaging Magic, you're not only learning how to share your message and tell your story, you're receiving knowledge from a 20+ year speaker turned messaging magician. That's me. and a team of clients who would go to bat for me and the messaging magic method and prove that it works when you work it right. It's unlike anything else out there today. So now that I've shown you how to be sure you're sharing the right message with potential buyers to help you increase sales, what do you guys think? Give me some feedback. I see some familiar faces on here. Hey, Miss Brenda. Hey, Shanika. Or is it Shaniqua? I hope I'm saying it right. Thank you to, let me make sure I'm saying it right. Thank you to Sharice and Robin and Tamika and Latasha and Lavon and all of you ladies who have been hanging out with me today. I want to get some questions. What questions do you guys have? Thank you, Tamika, for telling for putting the notes. You're a great note taker. I see you here in the Facebook group taking notes as I talk. So that means you guys are listening and getting recap points. So yeah, the first one was tell your story so well that it was at number one. But yeah, tell your story so well that potential clients want to know more about you and your business. Hey, Lisa Harris. Hey, Leslie, Janae, Tawana, Tamiko, Noah. Thank you guys for hanging out on my Facebook Live, on my public page. What questions do you guys have so far before we carry on? Go ahead and put them in the comments below and I'll keep an eye out. So I want to know if you ladies think that this will work for you. So let me ask you guys this question. If you followed what I showed you in secret number one and you told your story so well that potential clients would want to know more. And you're right, Tamika, that was secret number one. Great job. Great listening. But if you put that into action and you told your story so well that potential clients will want to know more, and then you did what I showed you in secret number two and you use messaging magic to put your business out there without putting your business out there. And then you use secret number three to share your right message with potential buyers to help you increase your sales in your business. Do you think that you guys would be successful using what we've talked about? Hey, Aya, or is it Aya? I love it. Either way. Thank you for joining. So if you guys use this, do you guys think you will be successful? I need to hear from you ladies. Give me a thumbs up, a yes, some hearts, some likes, some smiley faces, something. Let me know you're listening. So how many of you guys are excited about what we've already talked about? I want to know if you think this will work for you. I want to know if you think that you could be successful doing it. And I want to know if you're excited about what we've talked about. I also want to know if you feel a little overwhelmed because I did share a lot. I talked kind of fast. I was trying to breathe in between talking as well. But as you guys know, because we're not together for a long time today, it's impossible for me to show you everything that you need to get the results in a short presentation. So I tried to cover as much as possible. I also created a special package for those who are ready to move forward and want to implement this new information. So if you're still listening and still hanging out, I want to ask you, is it okay if I spend just a few minutes going over a very special offer that I created to help you implement messaging magic? So I'm waiting for some answers from you ladies. Thank you, Miss Brenda. Miss Brenda said it's okay. Hey, Lisa jumped on. Hey, okay. Lisa says her husband's here in Atlanta on a business trip. Wish you were here to meet me. One day you'll listen to the replay. Cool. You can also, Lisa, jump in the Self-Assured Woman Movement private Facebook group. I think it's private. But we're here live as well. That's the full replay. You guys can catch everything we chatted about. But Lavon said it was okay. Lavon, is this a yes? I'm going to take it a yes for all of the questions. Thank you for answering. All right. So, I'm waiting for some more answers. I'm waiting to see who else. Miss Brenda says it sounds great. Lavon says yes. If you guys want to hear about the offer, the private package, and making your message get a little sprinkling of magic, let me see Give Me Magic in the comments. Hey, Marcia. Give Me Magic lets me know that you guys are still with me and we can move on together. Let me see who else is here. Hey, Tawana, did I give you a shout out? You're always on my Facebook Lives. Thank you so much. Hey, Eddie Ellis, thank you for joining. All right. So I wanted to, let's see. Okay, Marcia was the last one to comment in our Facebook Live group. I'm waiting on some comments on my personal page as well. Okay, I see some hand claps. Thank you, Sherry. I know you. Oh, I remember you from another Facebook group when you were working on your book. Congratulations, girl. So who wants to know about the offer? And if not, it's totally fine if you guys don't want to know this stuff. I already know it, but this isn't about me. This is for you. As I mentioned, I want to encourage you. So if it's okay, I want to spend a few minutes and just show you how you can change your life and the way you do business as far as making more money in your business. If so, can I see a give me magic? Oh, thank you, Marcia. I'm going to go because Marcia says, give me magic. Thank you, girl. So I promised you guys at the beginning of this talk to show you how you can take this information even further and dive much deeper into developing and mastering your message in a way that's just right for you and your business. So imagine knowing how to tell and sell, not just tell, but sell your story while leaving a legacy with your words by having a blueprint for sharing your marketing message because you know what to say and what to leave out. You don't have to give all the dirty details. Notice I didn't call names. I didn't curse. I didn't cry when I shared my story at the beginning. For those of you who missed it, make sure you listen to the replay. But if you desire to be the go-to person in your industry, because I get paid to travel and to speak and to share this story. And if you're not doing that yet and you want to do that, you want to be the go-to person, then the Messaging Magic Masterclass is where I share top tips on what to say when you're selling you. And then how to make sure that you're sharing what you do with not just one person, but the community of clients, of the right people, because we can talk to anybody, but you want to make sure you're talking to the right people who need to hear what you have to say. And all of this builds on a foundation of running a profitable business and creating a system of success, meaning you can go back to it, you can repeat it. And this ultimately leads to you increasing your impact, your influence, and your income. So you guys can visit bit.ly/I need magic. And I'm going to throw it in the comments as well. bit.ly/I need magic. And what you'll find there is that it'll go over exactly what I teach you in the masterclass, but I'm also going to share some bonuses here with you guys who have hung out with me today. And so the course is for people who are tired of attempting to explain what they do, but they always leave out why they do what they do in their business. And they never mention the experience or the results that their customers get from working with them or hiring them and them doing business together. And it's your own step-by-step guide for how to develop your own marketing message. So I want you to choose to sign up for Messaging Magic, the masterclass today, and finally master your message. And here's what we're going to talk about in class. We're going to talk about your struggle to success story, because we all have them. If you're successful, you have a struggle to success story. Trust me. If you don't think so, I'll help bring it out of you. Or as Janae, one of my clients here on my Facebook Live, says, AJ's my pusher. She pushes us into our purpose. So I'll help push you into your purpose too. But we're also going to go over your solution strategy. When you get the answer to how to dive into selling your story, I'm going to show you that you also have a solution strategy that you're selling people in your struggle to success story. And then finally, we wrap it all up with a success strategy so that you can have systematic success. So you get the masterclass. I'm also going to throw in a bonus that helps you with your email messaging. It's going to help you with your marketing messaging. If you're selling a book, if you're selling a program, you need to know how to tell your story and master your message with a little magic on it. And so that's a part of the program as well. So you get the masterclass, you get the email messaging, and you get the marketing messaging. And I'm giving you something called a Messaging Magic Money Map. Say that 3 times fast. But it has a $197 value on it. The entire program is worth over $3,285, but I offer it for $297 for special listeners of today's Facebook Live. But the tool that I share helps you to know where to start your story every time you share, how to tie in what you do professionally, aka your professional proficiencies. But if you're ready to navigate your powerful story with ease, then I'm going to give you the 4 components to sharing what I call your super sexy signature story. And it gives you a formula that you can always refer back to when you share your magical money message, along with the benefits. A lot of us leave out the benefits and the proof and qualifiers when people ask us, what do we do? So if you guys want to get rid of overwhelm of what to share or what to leave out or how to make more money in your business, or when you get frustrated about what parts of your story that you're comfortable with talking to other people about when they ask you what you do, then just remember that you want to be ready to share. You want to know what to say, what to leave out. And then you don't want to rattle off a list of accomplishments. So it took me a long time to put all of this information together for myself, but now I get to bring them together and then give you bonuses like these where I'm helping walk you through it so you don't have to spend as much time as I did. And also for the first person today, just one, because I only have one more spot because I talk to hundreds of people throughout the week, but I have one special bonus for the first person to sign up for Messaging Magic over at bit.ly/I need magic. You get a special video chat with me where you can ask me your top 10 most burning questions about your story. And I will give you personal tips on your story about how to captivate the attention of those who need to hear about you and about what you do in your business. Even if you think you've already shared your story or you tried it before, but remember what we talked about in the top 3 secrets. Everything is so important in what you say. Even in things like your email. I've witnessed going through email jail. You don't want to have to go through that where people unsubscribe too much. You want to be saying the right story. So if you have questions about what to share, I'll answer those as a bonus to the first person who signs up today over at bit.ly/I need magic. But everything I share with you in the masterclass, along with the great tips that you've gotten today, they help you navigate the story and the messaging faster and quicker. And if you're like me and it didn't take you 30 seconds or 3 minutes to live your story, but you can tell it in 30 seconds or 3 minutes, then this is what you want through Messaging Magic, starting with the masterclass. So if you feel like you've never been good at selling or never been good at telling your story, I would love the chance for us to work together and teach you how not to offend people, how not to step on people's toes, how not to talk outside of the house, if you will, in my mom's terms. But you're going to focus on results and testimonials and raving reviews, starting with your own struggle to success story. So again, this is information that I've had to weed through and piece together to create my own stories that brought me the most results. And you guys, Messaging Magic, this is the greatest gift I can give you because, like I said, I've done the hard work and this has made me the most money that I've ever made in my business. I did a talk, I think it's almost a week ago today. I did a talk that was just like this. It took about an hour and I left with $660. And that was just for 1 hour of my time. Everybody doesn't make that type of money. And to some people, that won't be a lot of money. But to me, $660 at a thrift store, OMG, I felt like I was balling. I owned the place. So look, if you want to make it faster and easier, go to bit.ly/messaging magic and we can start working together. The course starts soon. So I want you guys to get in and get signed up. And the moment that you sign up, I'll send you a welcome packet and let you know what the next steps are. But again, the first person to sign up gets that bonus and it's a $3,285 value, but you get it for only $297. And so if all today did was teach you how to put your business out there without putting your business out there, do you think that it would be worth it? And if all the course alone did was show you how to share the right message with potential buyers to help you increase your sales, do you think it'll be worth it? So I just wanted to let you guys know what is out there, what's available, and that if you tried to hire a professional to do this for you, it'll go around about $25,000 I've heard so far just to start writing copy for you and helping you do your branding and your messaging. But this is something that you're learning how to do for yourself. And I'm giving you all the tools for you to make it happen. So at this point, you have 2 choices. Number 1, you can do nothing. And if you do nothing with all the information that I've shared today, then you'll get nothing. Or you can just take a leap of faith and test it out to see if it'll work for you. Now, I believe in accountability. So again, you can visit bit.ly/I need magic. But not only that, if you don't feel like, oh, the course is right for me, at least go to the website, get on the email list and get weekly encouragement, empowerment, education, and engagement for entrepreneurs. I send out emails. And again, you can get that same information at bit.ly/I need magic. But because I believe in accountability, I love keeping everybody encouraged to hang in there with entrepreneurship. So just to let you know that if you try the course and you don't like it, there's a guarantee included in the course. But again, I wanted to let you guys know what's out there. So I mentioned the bonus session where you get to ask AJ anything. But I want to tell you guys a quick quote. I heard Lewis Howes the other day. He said, she is successful because her burden became her blessing. Because she has a story to tell, it makes it easy for her to sell. Now, this is coming from a man, a very successful man. And he's saying that the woman who shares her story, she's turned her burden into her blessing. And now it's because she has a story to tell, it makes it easy for her to sell. That lets you know that it's time for you to start sharing your story. So just a real quick recap. You guys heard that the legacy of entrepreneurship was passed on to me by my mom and my dad and my granddads. And I do what's called hashtag legacy building. Because it's never too late. Even though it took me 15 years to graduate college, I realized there's always someone who is willing to trade places with me. Same thing with you. If you're complaining about what you do in your business and you really don't want to share your story, think about the thousands, especially here in Atlanta, the hundreds of thousands of people that are fighting traffic, getting permission, paid time off, vacation, sick leave, calling in sick, coming in late. They have to get permission from people to do this. They would gladly trade places with you as an entrepreneur, especially if you do this full time. So I shared with you guys the story behind Goodwill and how I got to where I am in business. And I'm so excited that there are people who have helped me and supported me along the way. So that's why I show up doing what I do. So I have studied this messaging magic technique. I have mastered it. And again, there's no greater gift that I could give you today. So I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me. And even for those who are afraid to get into the magic of telling their story, don't be afraid. I'm going to tell you a spiritual download that I had recently when I felt afraid. And God just kindly whispered to me that when you have fear, you have to remove yourself from the situation. That means take you out of it and go back to who you were in the beginning and think about her and think about all the little girls and all the ladies who need to hear your story, who need to hear what you've gone through, because they are where you were. And I remember begging and pleading with God at one point, God, I'll tell my story as long as I don't cry, as long as I don't get up and embarrass myself. And then I realized, wait a minute, I need to be thinking about those pearly gates. The ones they say when you die, he's going to say, well done, my good and faithful servant. I want him to say, well done. So I'm going to tell all my business. I'm going to share my story and I'm going to teach other people how I do it. So don't make the mistake of allowing whatever thought enters your mind that keeps you from telling your story or even signing up for Messaging Magic today. Don't let that hold you back because you're holding back someone else's success. Because if you're like me, God has called you to do what you do in your business and you have a big mission and a big vision. It's greater than you. And you want to get out there in a bigger way. You want to help more people. You want to serve on a much bigger level. If you're not sure how to do that, bit.ly/Messaging Magic is the best place for you to start. Because if you're like me, you feel called to do more. So if you want to share your story, but you're stuck, you're not really stuck. You just reached a part of your story that you may not be ready to talk about just yet. And you just need a guide for how to tell your story and what to include and what's okay to keep out. So even if you're feeling like you're not ready to share, go be nosy at bit.ly/Messaging Magic. See what I can do to help you tell your story. And I want to leave you ladies with this quote. I want to thank Miss Tamika and Miss Robin because you ladies have been super professional. I love what you're doing here in the private Facebook group. I love the motivation you give daily for helping women live their dreams. And I want to do my part here in the group as well by leaving you guys with this quote. When you impact one life, you impact generations. There is someone somewhere waiting on you to walk in your destiny so they can walk into theirs. Because it's when you let your light shine that you give others permission to do the same. I'm Andrika J. Austin, creator of Messaging Magic, and I would be honored to help you convert conversations to clients, cash, checks, and credit cards by sprinkling a little magic on your message. Thank you, ladies, so much for joining me here today, and I look forward to serving you over at bit.ly/I need magic. God bless. Bye-bye.